Well, it's that time again. Time to say goodbye. And to my good friends in Dingle, may the wind be ever at your back. I just need to get out of the bay here. So I'm going to tack. Normally you have to work the sheets when you tack, but because I have the stay-so mounted, I had to furl the general already. So I'm just going to test the auto tack function on my NKE here. So it should tack all by itself. Yeah, there it goes. Just push it and hold. That's how it works on this. And of course, when you tack, you don't do anything to the sheet. I mean, you can retrim it afterwards, but. Well, hello, Phantom Shipmates. I got underway from Dingle to direction to my home port of La Rochelle in France about 9 hours ago. It was a very slow start. I had to fight tide and wind to get out of the bay of Dingle Bay. But now that I'm out in the open ocean, all is well. Full sails, and I don't know if you can see that, but 12 knots of apparent wind, doing 8.5 to 9 knots, 145 degrees apparent. Okay, let me go downstairs and into the carré, and I'll try to show you what we're doing here. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do here. I left Southwest Ireland this morning up here. I'm coming down across the Celtic Sea around the northwest corner of France to here. This is La Rochelle, France, which is my hometown. So I'm going back home again. And here's a question for you philosophers out there. Is returning to where you started from the same as never having left? Food for thought there. And it's a passage of about 550 nautical miles. And frankly, I consider it one of the most difficult legs. And the reason that it's one of the most difficult legs is because it's coastal. After I get out in approaching France, the first thing I have to deal with is this. It'll come into view here. There. That's a traffic separation scheme of all of the traffic coming in and out of the English Channel, going around the northwest corner of France. So I have to stay clear of that and navigate that traffic, and I'll actually have to cross it somewhere. And then there's all this coastal traffic here. Fishermen and summer vacationers, and trying to do that as a solo sailor. That's why coastal sailing is so difficult for solo sailors, and why I prefer legs of about 90 miles when I'm doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to follow this path here. That path is just for reference. It's not what I navigate to. I'm going to stay very wide out here, try to stay way off the coast, away from the traffic and fishermen and other sailboats as much as I can, and bring it into there. So that's now let's look at the weather side of that. So this is where I am right now, and I'm looking at 15 knots of a quartering tailwind. And now let's start the timeline moving here, and you'll see what happens. It's moving now, 15 knots. 15 knots quartering tailwind, 10, 15 knots of a quartering tailwind. Same thing, same thing, same thing. Arriving in France. Now it's a little more beam, but 10 to 15 knots. That's just about as perfect of a weather window as you could possibly hope for. Now there's a lot of fetch there, so there'll probably be 1.5 to 2 meter seas, but from tailing, you know, so pretty good passage. We'll see how this all plays out. Heading across the Celtic Sea, which is a little messy with cross seas and all that right now, but we're doing fine, making good progress. There's 7.2 knots there. I get a lot of questions about the performance of the boat and how am I satisfied or not. And to start with, this boat will not compete with the new generation Pogos or the JPKs or the Sunfast 3300. Those kind of boats, those are in a different category. That's not my league. That said, this is a fast boat. When it's stripped down to fighting weight, in my local waters, with a good breeze, you know, like we're sailing around Ile de Ré, for those of you who are familiar, I can get up to 13, even 14 knots, you know, so it can go fast. But to be honest, I'm a little disappointed with the performance on this circuit of the Atlantic. And I was expecting to see 7 to 11 knots, and I'm seeing rather 6 to 9 knots all the time. So, and the reason, I think a large part of that reason, it is so grossly overloaded with 120 liters of diesel, 150 liters of water, and tools and spares and all of that stuff. Anyway, I've discussed that in the past. So when I got to Newfoundland, I said, you know, I was just determined. I said, okay, I'm not going to come back. I'm only going to use half the fuel coming back. I'm going to just have 60 liters of diesel coming back, and the same thing with water. I don't need 150 liters of water to cross the North Atlantic. So as the day approached to my departure, I kept thinking about that, you know, transporting empty jerry cans of diesel back across the Atlantic Ocean. And the fighter pilot in me took over. As a fighter pilot, there's no such thing as having too much fuel. And those of you who are aviators will know the adage that there's nothing quite so useless as airspace above you, runway behind you, or fuel in the refueling truck. So as the day approached, I could not bring myself to carry empty jerry cans, and I filled them all up again. So we got 120 liters of diesel again, and so I'm still seeing that same speed. So it can go faster. It's the reason it's not going faster is pilot error, and not is only about 20% contributing factor is the boat performance. So it's a fast boat. I'm happy. It was a wonderful experience. Not quite as fast as I would have hoped, though. And in a previous video, I showed all of the tools and discussed the spare parts that I'm carrying with me. Easily 100 kilos of stuff, including a spare rudder. 100 kilos of that stuff. And I just thought you'd get a giggle out of what I've actually used. This is what I've used in tools since leaving almost 90 days ago. A pair of needle nose pliers and a screwdriver one time. So I've been blessed also with no breakdowns or nothing serious. I've got 2 or 3 days to go here, so let's hope that that continues. But that goes to show, you know, I wouldn't have cut back on those, on that weight. Maybe the spare rudder, but the rest of that stuff is, I wouldn't go on a long journey like this without those tools. Celtic Sea dolphins. What we're looking at here, all of this traffic going in this direction there, this is called in French a dispositif de séparation de trafic, a DST, which is a TSS, a traffic separation scheme in English. And this is the TSS around the northwest corner of France that leads to and from the English Channel, so it's quite busy. You can see that's just the southbound traffic, and then the northbound and turning into the channel is just on the other side of that, even further away. Crossroads seem to come and go, and I have got to figure out how to cross that in a couple of hours. And here's the chart presentation of that. So here's all the southbound traffic, and here's all the people that are going into the English Channel, and that's me. So you can see I'm going to cross it outside of the TSS or DST. Well, I've crossed the southbound lane without incident. The ships just gave way as they should. No discussion on the radio, and it all went well. Now there's a big space in between the southbound lane and the northbound lane, and then across the northbound lane. But I'm not expecting any problem. This worked out very nicely. This tanker here, our original CPA was very, very, very close, like 0.1 nautical miles, and then he just eased away, so no factor. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. No discussion, no negotiation. He gave way. I maintained course and speed. Nine knots. I feel like we should be calling a tower and asking permission to do a low flyby. Welcome to the final sunrise of my adventure to circumnavigate the North Atlantic. Today is July 15th, and I left home on April 15th, so it's 3 months to the day, during which I sailed a little over 8,600 miles. Wow, what an adventure it was. Great fun. Regrets? Yeah, well, I've had a few, but, you know, too few to mention. So, thanks for following along. Apologies for my very limited filming and editing skills. But I hope you got at least a chuckle or two out of the videos. So what's next? Well, the summer's only half over, so I am probably going to rest up a bit and then make a dash over to Spain. Love that place. And then I'm going to do some minor repairs to the boat and sell it, because I want to buy another kind of sailboat to experience yet another kind of sailing adventure. So stay tuned. It won't be a catamaran, I can assure you that. And now over to you. The powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. Isn't it nice to be home again? Sure is.